There are certain things before you have a baby that you despise, you don't do. And then after you have a baby, it's like every day you do it, and you not just do it, but you embrace it and you like it and you look forward to them. The first one, I just keep thinking about this, routines. I was so shocked, being a first time mom, coming into this totally new. And I was like, why is there like bedtime routine? Why is there a nap time routine? Why do other moms share like they have like routines and like a schedule? And like, what is this? My entire life, basically, I really enjoy going with the flow. Like I have some structure of like appointments or meetings or events, but I like spontaneity. I like doing kind of what I feel like in the moment. And I also have ADHD. And so I think a lot of that was just so shocking to me. Before you have a baby, you just have no idea. Like, why do parents have to leave events early to put their kids to bed? Like, can't you just stay out late and put them to bed late? It's like, you have no idea because you're not there to witness that when they're overtired, they're like screaming. It's hard for them to sleep. And they wake up multiple times in the night. Sometimes they wake up in the very early morning and they don't go back to sleep. And they're crying and they need you. So kids and babies and toddlers, especially, they really thrive on routines. And therefore, as a parent, you also enjoy life more when you establish certain routines. Of course, it doesn't mean your entire life has to be regimented. Like, I would die if that happened. If everything was like minute by minute, I have to have exact structure. I feel like that's not possible too, because kids are so unpredictable. But I definitely think that having, bedtime routine and nap time routine, and also, certain rhythms that we just kind of fell into and have fallen into. For example, in the mornings, my husband usually will get up a little bit earlier and help get our baby and get her changed and feed her the first bottle, while I kind of like take my time getting out of bed, just because he's more of a morning person than I am, just naturally. Also, at night after we put our daughter to bed, then we'll get, things cleaned up, we'll do the dishes, we'll prepare her formula for the next day, we'll have some time to connect or do our own thing. And there's just like certain rhythms that you kind of fall into that you just start repeating day by day. And I used to not have much routine at all in my life, besides like my quiet times with God or our weekly date nights. And obviously, once you have a baby, like your whole life just reshuffles and you have to figure out your new routines and rhythms, and also what is realistic and doable. Okay, number 2 is morning wake ups. Growing up, I didn't have a consistent bedtime, didn't have a consistent wake up time at all. Like, I would just sleep randomly. I remember after school in high school, I would be so sleep deprived because I wouldn't sleep at early times. I would just stay up super late, procrastinate on everything and not pay attention. I was so distracted. I couldn't concentrate. School was so hard for me. So I would stay up super late, and then after school, I would just crash. Well, I would also fall asleep during classes, and then after school, I would crash in the car. I would have a random nap that oftentimes was too long, and then the same cycle would repeat over and over, where I didn't have a consistent circadian rhythm. And so fast forward, I'm studying about baby sleep during the postpartum newborn trenches, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like having consistent wake up time and bedtime seems to be pretty important. Also, how come everybody's waking up so early? Lo and behold, it's because babies exemplify like human nature. We are actually meant to wake up when the sun rises and sleep when the sun sets. But it's because of technology and screens and, just so many artificial things in our society now that we've kind of messed up our circadian rhythm, and we don't know what's a proper time to wake up or go to sleep anymore. And going to bed at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. seems super early, when in fact, that's when babies, usually sleep between 7 and 8, and it seems so early, but it's like, it's what works. And oftentimes they also wake up between, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. And so before having a baby, I would be like, that seems super early. I'm so tired. I just want to maximize my sleep. You just get used to it. Like, you just get used to waking up at 7, even 6. Thankfully, we've kind of established a regular, again, like over time and consistency. When you just establish routines and rhythms, your baby kind of adapts too. And thankfully, she wakes up around like 7-ish on average now. So it is super helpful, because when she was a newborn, it was all over the place. And I remember waking up at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. many days, just being exhausted. Number 3 is going to the dentist or doing errands, like in general, like grocery shopping. I went grocery shopping earlier today by myself, and it was like such a good form of self-care. And I remember my first dentist visit, I think this was probably 2 months in postpartum. I was like, this feels like the spot. Like, I cannot believe I can be here without my baby. It feels weird. It feels uncomfortable, but it also feels like I can finally turn my brain off and just relax and not worry about my baby, because my husband was watching our baby. And it's so funny because before having a child, you're like, oh, I don't want to go to dentist or do errands or whatever. And now doing something by yourself anything is such a treat because you get that space and you get that separation so that you're not just like constantly thinking like, what do they need? And you're on job basically 24/7, like around the clock. And that kind of leads to the next one too, which is number 4, the gym. I never thought I would say this, but I look forward to the gym and working out because again, my self-care time, I get to do my thing and kind of turn off that mom part. Like of course you can't completely turn off. You're always mentally thinking like, is everything okay at home? And I need to get back soon and blah, blah. But you're not like on duty, like on shift, and you can actually take some time. Like me and my husband take turns working out throughout the week, and one of us watches the baby while the other one goes to work out. And when I go to the gym, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can spend this time to invest in my health, invest in myself. And I feel like that is so important, especially because it helps me to be a better mom when I can condition my body and condition my strength and endurance to keep up with my mobile baby, who's going to be even more mobile and walking around, running around when she's a toddler. So I have far more motivation now to go to the gym. And I never thought I would ever say that I look forward to going to the gym. I mean, it's definitely not something I am like, oh my gosh, can't wait to go. But it's like, I value it a lot more and I enjoy it a lot more than I used to. I'll just put it that way. Okay. Number 5 is socializing and going out. I just think a lot of people don't say it out loud because I think a lot of us don't want to sound like we're hermits, but I'm a homebody. Like I enjoy spending time at home, having alone time. I'm actually pretty introverted. I would class myself as like an ambivert, but I have a very strong introvert side to me that only like people super, super, super close to me would understand and see. But after becoming a mom, I actually surprisingly really enjoy seeing people and going out because it's one thing to be at home and not have a child. Like you get autonomy and freedom to like do whatever you want, but it's like being at home with a child all day. It's like you're working all day. You're on, and even during nap times, you're doing chores or doing dishes or doing other things that are just hard to do when your baby's awake and crawling around and needs monitoring or attention or tending to. Also, you're just talking to like a child all day. I hear all the time from moms of multiples, if they have multiple little kids, it's even harder because they're screaming, there's so much noise, they're overstimulated, and they're like, oh my gosh, I need another adult to talk to keep me sane. I kind of heard about this when I was pregnant, and I was just like, oh, I don't think I'll have that problem because I'm pretty introverted. I like my own alone time. I like being at home, but you just don't take into account, like, it's not just being at home by yourself anymore. It's being at home with a baby or multiple kids, and they all need your attention. It's like managing multiple tornadoes and you're like, don't touch that, don't eat that, come here, and then managing their different schedules, managing their different needs, not having time for yourself and what you want to do. You obviously can kind of attempt to do stuff, but just expect your productivity to be a lot lower because you're constantly being interrupted or you're constantly needing to monitor. Like half of your brain is it's like the image of a chameleon, like one eye is on what you're trying to do, but the other eye is like, what are they doing? Are they okay? And what do they need? And that actually leads to number 6 being something that I didn't used to despise, but I definitely didn't value it. But now it's like luxury, which is not doing anything. Again, I've talked about how I grew up in the Bay Area. It's very productivity driven. Everyone is like an overachiever basically. And there's just such a strong culture, especially amongst Asian Americans, to always be productive. If you're not doing anything productive or useful, it's like a waste of time, it seems like. As a mom, I've definitely had to learn to rewire this even more because you need breaks, you need rest, and giving yourself permission to just take a nap or just chill on the couch or just not do much, throughout the day because you're keeping a baby alive and you're keeping yourself and your family alive. And I've been thinking a lot about how unrealistic expectations have become especially for new moms, where all you see is on social media, people doing a bunch of million things, but you don't see behind the scenes. They're also suffering in many different ways, or they have a lot of help, or there's just things you can't see. But it's so unhealthy for us to project these unrealistic expectations, thinking that we need to be doing all these things to be like a boss lady or a super mom or whatever. And I think it's a lot of self-sabotage. Basically, I've learned and am continuing to learning to embrace not doing anything and being able to chill and being able to slow down and be present in the moment and not be like, I could be doing, 10 million things right now, instead of just enjoying being with my child and soaking in the precious moments with her, because everybody says it's so short. Everybody says, it goes by in a flash, just soak it in. And it's hard to soak in if you're just constantly thinking there's so much I want to do or need to do, when honestly, a lot of that is just self-imposed pressure that you conjure up for yourself because you think you should to be a good person or a good mom or whatever. But so much of this motherhood journey really is attuning to how are you really doing? What do you really need? And also, what is your standard for happiness or success? Like, who's defining that? Like, you should be defining that, not what you see out there in the world or what you assume other people are doing. And then last but not least is number 7, which is funny because it's kind of meta. It is being really vulnerable, not just sharing, the bits and pieces of my life that I feel like, okay, this would be, okay to share, but like my real messy self. And I literally have not done this to this degree ever in my life until launching this channel, or launching specifically these videos about my motherhood journey. Because if you go back to my first videos when I've been posting about suffering through the postpartum newborn trenches, and I was just losing it. I was like, what in the world is happening? I do not understand. How are people surviving? How do moms have multiple kids? I don't understand. I was so lost, so disoriented. It was just a really, really hard time for me. I was completely shocked by so many things, and also found it very isolating because I knew other moms, but they looked like they were thriving, and everybody was like giving me advice or like telling me, this or that. And it's all out of good intent. But I was craving just like, why do people have struggles? Like, I don't know. And so let me be the first to just share openly like how I'm struggling, and hope that maybe somebody out there maybe is going through it like me. And sure enough, thanks to those of you who've been commenting and just sharing like I've been, going through something similar, or I can relate, it just is so fulfilling and rewarding for me to know that, first of all, I'm not alone, but second of all, I'm helping other people know that you're not alone either, and that this can be a safe space to be real and be unmasked and unfiltered, versus what we see majority online being shared about motherhood. So much of it is like the tidied up version of like, this is what I do to like successfully homeschool 10 kids, and this is my morning routine with my newborn. And those are not bad, but it's like, again, I feel like it creates this pressure, this unrealistic picture for so many of us new moms being like, how come my life doesn't look like that? How come I'm not put together like that? And before having a baby, I didn't have a reason that was so compelling for me to be so unfiltered and be so out there with my mess. And honestly, I wasn't half the mess I am now before becoming a mom. Like, I definitely had struggles. Being a mom humbles you to a new degree, a new level. You can either fight it or you can embrace it. And for me, I am just fully embracing it as much as I can. And not just embracing, but like, I don't know, I have this like God-given passion now. I don't even know. I feel like it's something I can't resist, which is helping other people through my vulnerability. And that's something I've never really felt to that extent. Like, I've definitely enjoyed sharing things that I've gone through or are going through, but in the past, looking back, even though I thought I was being vulnerable in the past, a lot of it was like, oh, this is what I have learned through the journey, versus me sharing now. It's like, this is what I am going through. I don't know the answers. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is what I'm gathering. This is what I've been learning along the way. And I hope just me sharing the mess can help. My relationship with being vulnerable has totally changed, because I used to find it more difficult, a lot more difficult, compared to now, where I'm just like letting it flow. I'm just saying it. I don't really care if I look like a mess and I'm super sweaty in the car after working out. I feel like there's more, but I would love to hear, if you have similar things, if you're a new parent, new mom, so we can all just like share in our messiness, things that have totally flipped for you, that you used to not like, or you used to resist or not do, or made you uncomfortable, and now you do on a regular, or now you've been learning to embrace as well. If you like videos like this, I'm all about realistic, unfiltered, honest motherhood. We need more of that in our world so that we know we're not alone and we're not crazy. So follow along, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.